the Psychic Sisters. We are on a road trip today. This beautiful creek you are looking at is Timber Creek. We are currently in Leadore, Idaho. Leadore is directly outside of town at the Timbercreek Campground is where 5 years ago Deorr Kunz Jr. disappeared. This is where baby Deorr disappeared, and this is the creek that is right below the campground that he disappeared from. This creek was searched extensively many times, because of course there was a worry that perhaps he had fallen into the creek. It's not very deep, at least in the area we are, but of course that could change, at any point. But it is absolutely gorgeous place. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's really indicative of campgrounds up high in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we've camped in places like this all our lives.
Oh, yeah.
So when you hear campground, you might think like a KOA. Not at all. This is just a place by a creek out in the mountains and in the trees where people like to camp. The actual campground is occupied right now, so we didn't video there. But this is the creek that runs right along it. I'll just show you some. It's very beautiful here, but you can see why the parents said he couldn't have gone very far on his own. And it's true, he couldn't have. Look at how brushy it is. It's, up here it gets pretty steep. Like down, the creek is sort of down in a bit of a valley here. It's not a place where a 2-year-old child on their own could wander a long ways away.
No, not at all. This is a really remote area. It was nearly a 3-hour drive for us from our home.
Yeah.
And it would have been also for Deorr's parents because they lived in Idaho Falls, Idaho, at the time of his disappearance. Looking at the creek, and even just right here, but, this was only 5 years ago, and the brush and terrain don't change that much. But I can't imagine that a little one could have gotten very far without being caught up in something.
Right. Yeah, there's lots of rocks and deadfall. Like you can see these trees up here that have fallen over across the creek, and lots of brush on the sides and bushes and things that a little body wouldn't have gotten very far in this water.
No, would have certainly gotten hung up somewhere. It's fast, as you guys can see. It's quite fast. Now, obviously, every year, what this creek looks like is going to be different depending on what kind of snow runoff is coming from the mountains.
Right.
Because that's what would feed a creek like this. And so, if that was a heavy snowfall year, this could have been bigger and faster. And if it was a lighter year, it might have been smaller and slower. So that might be a little research that should be done. But
a little, but it's not going to change that much. I mean, you can tell from the banks that this doesn't ever get that deep.
No, it doesn't. Well, and in fact, if you can see here, this is a road.
Yeah.
That we parked on one side of it. The creek interrupts it, and then there's road on the other side.
Yeah, so there's a time in which it's possible to drive through it. Probably you could now if you weren't driving my car.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing that.
No, we've already created a situation where we're going to have to back up a little steep and scary road.
Oh, yeah, all the way out of here ourselves. And just so you know, the rearview mirror fell off my car on the way here. And so we're going to have to put it back on so I can back out of here.
It was scary. We thought we were killed.
We did. It was really scary. It sounded like a gunshot when it landed.
It really did. But we wanted to show you guys the creek and just let you know we were road tripping today. In reporting this case, we wanted to really, immerse ourselves in it and visit the area where Deorr disappeared, and that's what we're doing. So we will have a new live video, or a new video, at the first of next week, and a new podcast in our second installment of this case. We're going to be looking at more of the players, what their statements look like, how they changed, and those kinds of things. And we'll have more video from this area and more reports of what we found here. But we couldn't stand on this gorgeous creek bed and just not share it with you guys and let you know where we're at and what we're working on today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think it's always interesting to go to a place that's related to one of our cases. It gives you perspective that you might not get in other ways, Yeah. And this kind of tells you what kind of camping these guys were doing when this baby went missing. It also tells you kind of how remote it was for police and search and rescue to get here.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a This is not a quick place to get to by any means.
Oh no, we've been on dirt road for many miles. Very rough dirt road for many miles.
Yeah.
Thus the rearview mirror falling off.
Yes. Yeah, very bumpy. Okay, well, we'll come back with more on Monday with our next installment in the story of Deorr Kunz.
Yeah, but now stay tuned because we will tomorrow. Lori Vallow does have court.
Yes.
She's pleading not guilty on all 3 of her misdemeanors associated with, the police investigating the disappearance of the kids.
Right.
And so she's already indicated she's going to plead not guilty. She's asking for a change of venue and a jury trial for those 3 misdemeanors. Also asking for a bail reduction. So it's possible that the hearing tomorrow will be no thing, but it's also possible that there will be some fireworks. So we will watch it. I'll probably get some footage of the courthouse beforehand. We can't go because of COVID, but it will be streamed. So we'll watch it and we'll do a live afterwards and report on what we saw and heard and, what her lawyer's up to now. So we'll check it out.
Yes, we will. All right. Well, you know us. We're True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for tuning in.